So there's a decent amount to go over in this video because we just hit 3,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is honestly insane. Thank you all so much. Everybody watching this, if you subscribed, we'd have like many more. And so I hope that we get to 4,000. I think in our trajectory, we'll get there soon enough. And I can't be any happier, to be honest. Thank you so much for being here. That said, we also hit another major milestone over on the Discord server, finally passing 200 Rahi mocks, also 575 members, which is pretty cool, and you can join it for free down in the description below. But if you want to check out those Rahi mocks, well, you'll find them there, and we're also going to take a look at them here. I've got something else kind of big in front of me too that I want to show off, but I'm going to save that towards the end-ish of this video. You'll have to watch to find out where it's at. No. So first things first, one of the Rahi that I designed literally just the other day, let me grab it because it's right here next to me. This is a combination model, and if you guys have ever tried to build Rahi or literally anything with the 2003 Matoran, it can be really difficult because they're fairly restrictive in their parts, generally speaking. So it is sort of a peacock type of animal. I designed it sometimes where it could have the beak like this, so it's oriented this way, or you could flip the beak 90 degrees and give it more like a duckbill type thing, which I think looks a little better for this case, this scenario, right? That said, though, I think the design overall is really good. Obviously, in real life, I'm using Holly's mask here in dark trans blue. Gali's mask, same thing, right? In the render, I use Gali Nuva's mask just because the kind of dark trans blue would look a little bit weird in renders, but I think it works out well overall, given, again, the parts that are available. So really happy with the design of this one. That is up on the Discord server. On top of that, let's go ahead and scroll on down to the next one. So this little guy, this goofy little guy here, is another one that I designed yesterday very quickly, just kind of like having fun with that sort of spine assembly that I found out recently. And so, yeah, I just wanted to build something with it, and this is what I came up with. Originally, I was inspired by like sort of a Dimetrodon type of animal, but I ended up going sort of like a hound direction, which is why I call it a familiar, because it's not really either. It's kind of a hybrid of both in a lot of ways. It's a very simple design. There's nothing fancy going on, although the head design is kind of cool, the way that it's done. But for this model specifically, it's a little bit large, and I think that's kind of adorable about it. So I like it, but yeah, it's definitely a little more abstract than many of my other Rahi tend to be. But we have more Rahi to look at, because this one right here is a toad Rahi, and it can be made from any single Rakshi and any single 2003 Matoran. You just slap them together, put some glue and duct tape on there, and it works out. And this is what that looks like, although the little krata holder decided to pop on open. There we go. So this is what it looks like. The only real difficult thing for this one specifically is getting the eyes in the correct place, because like they're, you know, the Borak limbs, right? They're going to be the same color as the limbs. They're not going to stand out as well as I would personally like, but again, fairly limited on the parts I'm able to use. So I think overall it came out pretty good, all things considered. So very happy with it. I know white's not the best color to show off on camera here, but hopefully it gets the point across for the video. I designed it in white first, so that's why it's the one I'm showing. And lastly, up for the renders is this one. This is an alternate model for a series that I want to do on Metro Nui. I've already got 3 of these Rahi designed, 2 more that I need to render, 1 more in front of me right here that you're going to get ready to see. But this one right here specifically is the Choot Runner, which is an alternate model made from Matau, if that wasn't obvious already. And it is a bird Rahi. Yes, I know that the eyes are yellow. I just wanted to use something that was easy to visualize, easy to see in the renders. In Matau's actual set, that axle is going to be gray. It still works out just fine, but you could change the color of that piece if you want the eyes to kind of stand out. I see the beak as the eye stalks. That's the red portion, and then the eyes themselves can be that, well, you know, axle if you want. That said, I'm really happy with the design of it. I see it as a bird, and really the only rule that I set out for myself is that each of the models have to use the mask in some way. I'm willing to make an exception for Nuju just because his mask is asymmetric. It can be a little bit clunky, a little hard to work with. But outside of that one, I want to use the mask on all of them if possible, even including Nuju, if I'm being honest here. So outside of this here, another alternate that I came up with literally just I don't know, 40 minutes ago when I started filming this, because I've recorded a few times, is this little guy right here. This is a mole that I designed made from Wanua. And it might seem weird that the gear is on bottom at first, but I actually did that intentionally. My idea, which I need to test, is that when the model is on the ground, it has 3 points of connection, right? The gear and the 2 sort of hips on the back of the legs, whatever you want to see those as. And the idea is that when this grips something like carpet, that rotating the model will sort of like pivot the arms. Whether or not that works, I don't know. I'll test it, like I said. But if it doesn't work, you can just take this axle and push it in from the top instead. So you can have the gear on the back if you want to, right? So that works out really well. It has the head posability if you want. The head can look side to side, whatever. And the head build is pretty straightforward, like, honestly. So I'm pretty happy with how this one came out, all things considered. Yeah, very, very restrictive set of parts. Again, anytime you're building alternates, it can be really difficult because of how restrictive parts can be. But I think this one came out well, and surprisingly leaves a decent amount of the parts behind too. But the big boy, the main, I don't know, player in this game, something I started designing yesterday, not 100% sold on it yet because it's work in progress, but I wanted to design another dragon. I wanted to retake my idea on the Sky Tyrant. This does not have wings yet. It's big. So this is where I'm at so far. So I started this around 7:30 last night, finished up, I believe, around 10. So about 3 hours of designing, give or take 2.5 hours, something like that. And I'm pretty happy with the design of it, especially from the side. There are definitely some colors that I want to kind of work with. The green here is just not doing it for me, so I think I might go with dark green here as well. We'll see what I end up settling on. And then the Keat Orange, I like Keat Orange with dark green, but I don't think I care for it as much with the lime green accent, so I may change that to tan instead. Thankfully, we do have a decent number of tan pieces that are fairly large that can cover areas of like the torso and stuff, but I really wanted to work with what I had here. So if I keep the Keat Orange, I might go with something else instead of the lime green on the back. But I also have like 1 billion of these lime green pieces, so it's an easy piece for me to work with. That said, the head design from the side, I think it looks pretty good. From the front, though, not so good. It's just way too wide. And I wanted something wide. I wanted something Viper-like, right? Relatively stout, relatively thin, but also wide and aggressive looking. And this worked, but it's just too wide. Now, there are some pretty clever things going on in there to actually make the head work in the first place. And, I mean, it can open like crazy. So, like, it has a real wide bite. And, of course, it can close all the way up as well, which, again, looks a little bit silly after a while. But I think overall the concept of the head is good. It's just the execution that needs to be reworked a bit. So, that's really just about everything I wanted to go over in this video, I think. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, thank you again so much for 3,000. It's been an incredible journey so far. I literally remember sitting here November 15th on my birthday, hitting 1,000 subscribers. I could not have timed that better. I like literally, it's you guys that did it for me. And I don't want to be like greedy saying if everybody that watched subscribed stuff, but we blow metrics out of the water on the channel. Like, we get so many views on this channel. It's honestly incredible. And that's all because of you guys. Like, I can only do so much on my end, but you are really what makes this channel thrive. You are really what makes this channel what it is, and you sort of steer the direction that the channel continues to go in as it continues to evolve as well. So I've just been enjoying the journey. That's everything I can say, honestly. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, if you want to subscribe, you can. Don't have to. And of course, as always, you can check out the Discord, which is linked down in the description. If you want to find those Rahi, toward the top of the server is a channel called Skybirdmakes Rahi, and that is where all 204 of them are posted. It's an insane number already. Not to mention Instagram and Patreon are all down there as well. I have some plans for the Patreon here coming soon. We'll see how that ends up going, just because I've been kind of like thinking about exactly what I want to do, because I do like to give stuff away for free, which is probably a problem if I'm trying to like do this as a thing, right? But at the end of the day, I don't care. I enjoy giving things away. So, all right. Take care, guys.